wish I could say I'd done something butch, but actually I just bruised my toe when I went out for a slash in the night. It wasn't done doing any sort of tricky mountaineering move or anything. It should hold it.
It was, Butch. It was broken. God, I'm tough. Despite the rather bleak conditions, I got a good night's sleep. No sign of the hurricane. But we're up early. We do need to get down the mountain before the weather gets any worse. I had a nice waterproof tent. Well, it could have been blown away. The experts had offered me a nice rock to sleep under. What? I thought they were kidding. They weren't.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would this bivvy rate as?
For here in the Alpine area, I'll give it about a 7.
In these conditions, I'd give this bivvy about a 10, because I'm staying dry. If the wind was blowing in here, I'd probably give it a 0.
Yeah.
Because I'd be getting wet. That's how bivvies work.
Yeah. Do you get cave wetters?
Mm. Yeah, in amongst the rocks, there's could well be cave wetters in amongst the rocks here.
Yeah, that would bother me. That would rate it as a 0 for me. Pretty much. I'm not fond of them.
You better stay in Auckland. Sorry. I couldn't resist it.
Righto, well, I've had enough of this joy. Let's get into the tramping and rain and misery, eh?
Yeah.
It took Barrington several hours to scramble and stumble down the rocky slopes beneath Stag Pass to reach the valley floor. There's really only one way to go. Follow the stream down. But this is fiercely steep, broken and unstable country. We had to descend with incredible care. A single loose rock became a deadly missile channeled straight at the head of a man below you. It was slow going. Tough on the knees, too.
This is Barrier Flat out in front of me. And if I'd been Barrington, I'd have made sure it was named Jubilation Flat. Because when he got here, after all the hardships, being on his own, starvation and everything, I mean, the unending misery, up in the far corner at the head of the flat, he could see smoke rising. He went over to investigate it, and there were his two friends, Farrell and Simonon. And he writes, they were very surprised to see me. But I can assure you, damn pleased.
I was greatly reduced since they saw me and was very weak, just able to put one foot before the other. They started hunting and got 2 Māori hens, which they gave me. And with the heat of the fire, I was much refreshed.
The chance reunion saved Barrington's life. But after just one day's rest, they decided to gamble all their remaining strength on continuing to back their hunch that the shortest way back to Lake Wakatipu and Queenstown was over the mountains. Their first obstacle was the ice-bound intervention saddle, which they tackled without any specialist climbing equipment at all. Getting up was a nightmare. Getting down was very nearly tragic.
Simonon was behind me. I heard him sing out, "Look out!" He and his gun passed me at the rate of a swallow. Head first, on his back, and did not stop till they reached a little flat about 2 miles down. I thought he was killed, but he was all right. Such a day I hope never to see again.
From Intervention Saddle, they followed the Forgotten River to where it joins the Olivine River. If they'd held their course, they would have reached Cow Saddle the next day and been back in Queenstown within a week. Incredibly, on the brink of finally finding their shortcut through the Alps, they decided to find their way to their former camp at Lake Alabaster and head home from there.
The stupid thing is when the party got here from the Forgotten, I mean, they could have just taken this branch over here into the Olivine
Yeah.
and saved themselves 2 weeks.
At the same time, you know, I mean, Barrington, he'd been the snow over Stag Pass, he'd been gutsy enough to head up over Intervention Saddle. I guess he got down to here and the guys were sort of thinking, I want to get out of this. I want to head down to the valley, head lower down into where there might be a bit of food.
Needed relief.
They needed a break here.
Yeah.
Yep, just so close. They've just added 2 weeks.
Bastard.
May 21. Travelled down a large flat and entered into the heaviest and steepest gorge I ever saw.
In fact, even today, guidebooks warn trampers to stay well away from the Olivine Gorge. As Barrington, Farrell and Simonon discovered, once you're in here, it's extremely difficult and dangerous to get out in one piece.
The Olivine River comes roaring down through a huge fissure in the hills. And these falls get progressively bigger as we go back up. It was here that Barrington and party continued their travails, really. They had a terrible time. What happened was that they were lowering Farrell over a 14-foot precipice down towards the river to get down. It was a flex rope. Halfway down, the rope broke. Farrell tumbled into the boiling water and rolled along, disappearing from view. They couldn't see him for a minute and a half.
I saw him rise and seize at another rock. If he had gone 4 feet further, he would have been dashed down a precipice 200 feet, so that he would never have been seen anymore.
Barrington then says that they spent a cold, wet night on the stones.
Their stamina, fortitude and perseverance beggars belief. By late May 1864, after nearly 7 relentless months in the South Westland wilderness, Alpheus Barrington, James Farrell and Antoine Simonon finally made it back to Lake Alabaster. But it wasn't a good spot to camp in heavy rain.
We had to turn out last night at 10 o'clock, and the water rose so fast that we could not get anything away but our blankets. We tied the powder and guns up to the ridgepole, afraid to carry them away in case of getting them wet. Before we reached the hill, I got up to my arms in water, but we reached the land safe about a quarter of a mile. Had to walk up and down all night with the rain pouring down. If this night does not kill us, we shall never die.
In truth, they could have perished at any time on the journey home. All three were starving and frostbitten. Barrington was now wearing blankets to replace his rotten clothes. They faced a crossing of North Cole in deep snow, and Barrington's diary reveals a daily vacillation between fearing imminent death and his determination that they would make it.
June 4th. Went to bed in good spirits. We know if we were over the divide, we can get to the Wakatip if we do not get anything more to eat, as it is all downhill afterwards. June 5th. My feet are in an awful mess, and nothing to put on them but Māori hen fat. I do not think we shall be able to get over. We are 3 skeletons, just alive.
I knew it would be hard, but you never prepare for it. Uphill, it's white out, you get sleet and snow, getting into your face, it hurts like hell. And the cold, as soon as you stop, just comes in like hands into your body, and it just says, here, feel this, and it just takes you away. It's a pretty uncomfortable feeling. Tired, my legs are shagged, I'm panting, and just finding it tough going, really.